Wow, they really, they want that race war bad. They're really ginning up both sides. I'm watching a lot of stuff on YouTube where bigger people are talking about the black question, the BQ, which is kind of risky to talk about. You know, it used to be. Same thing with the JQ, also used to be risky to talk about. Now people talk about that all the time openly. I got a lot of bans for doing stuff like that over the years. But whatever, hey, you know, rules for some. But yeah, it's weird because like white people are, you know, understandably kind of on the fence about this thing, you know. But the problem is, black people aren't on the fence about it themselves. Right now in South Africa, they're ethnic cleansing white people, and in this country, there's asymmetrical warfare against us as it is. The idea of attacking, killing, robbing white people is pretty much in vogue. So I think whether they like it or not, they're going to be forced into doing something, whatever that something is. I don't know. But I was looking at this thing with Charlie Kirk, one of his last debates, but he was over at a school and he was talking to the administration there, and there was a professor he was talking to, or it might have just been a teacher. She was pretty young. Could you have young people? You know what? I don't give a fuck. He was talking to her and he's like, so you haven't heard about what's going on with whites in South Africa? And she's like, no. And he said, really? She goes, no, I don't know. He should know what he's talking about. He's like, I find it hard to believe that someone in academia has no idea what's going on there right now with the ethnic cleansing of white people in South Africa. She claims she didn't know. You know? So whether white people want it or not, it's happening. But how is that gonna take shape? And understand, when you're fighting against black people, you're fighting against the government, because they're one and the same, you know. So is that the way they're going to lead us into some kind of civil war through black people? They use them for everything else, so I mean, why not do it this way? You know, because they're already attacking us. You know, it's just like the JQ. It's like the J has been attacking us asymmetrically hundreds of years. You know, it's funny too, because they always call Israel like our greatest ally. And, you know, satanic doctrine, everything's split, everything's backwards. They're really our greatest enemy, without a doubt. I mean, everything that is destructive to us as people, not even this country, because they own the country. They form the country. There's a timer on the country. Fuck the country. It's not about the dirt, it's about the people. That's always the way it is. That's why this is so ridiculous that they try to push that if you move to a country, like, I'm a Briton now. You know, if I went to China, okay, somehow, and I moved into China, and I was hit by a car, the newspaper shouldn't say, a Chinese man was hit by a car today. Do you know what I mean? That would be fucking ridiculous. But that's kind of what they want us to, you know, these are German men, just like you, and Umbatu, Chagachuki, and Pajibi, say hello. Oh, look, just as German as you. You know, that's bullshit. I mean, we all know that. You know, the cake is on the table there. But, so something, I mean, everybody agrees something is coming. But what? How is this going to take shape? I'll ponder that as I try to avoid them in Target. It's the only bad graffiti we've gotten here lately that I agree with. I don't have to do Jesus again. They were taking these things here and just rubbing it up against it, so it's not like paint or anything. Looks like a little kid might have done it, or a black person. What do you do? What do you do? As I said before, I am not a pro-genocide guy. Even though blacks are doing it to whites in South America, and even though Israelis are doing it to Palestinians, and Jews and blacks have no problem with genocide. Which is kind of funny because they both have very small communities when it comes to controlled civilizations. So, I mean, Jesus, if we ever decided that we were cool with it too, they'd both be fucking cooked. But we wouldn't do that. We're not going to go around gunning down anybody. We're just, well, we're better than that. We're better than that. Now, I don't mean that as far as if someone's trying to come in your house or something, or if they're intruding on your town, or if anything is at stake, yeah, fucking let it fly. You know, burn them, you know, whatever. But in a larger sort of conflict or, you know, whatever, that's not the way to go. I don't think God wants that. I don't think God would smile upon that. And I think they're going to have to deal with that themselves when the time comes, or maybe not, because I don't even think they're a product of God. You know? So, whatever. I think they come from another factory. But, yeah, so what do we do? Well, when was the last time it worked? When we had control over a situation somewhat. That was in the days of segregation. You know? And whenever anyone got out of line, there was a very public execution. Something that would be something people would be able to see. The old Vlad Tepsis method, like putting the pikes on the heads, like could be you if you don't stop raping. You know, something like that. I mean, I don't know what else could be done. I mean, you know, it'd be great to get everybody on a boat or plane and Madagascar, that situation, but that's not feasible. You know, that's not my perfect idea. My fantasy idea is to give them Georgia and South Carolina. Sorry to anybody that lives there. Give them Georgia, South Carolina, build a giant wall, like no one's ever getting over it. And then we just deliver them supplies. We'll still have to, you know, take care of them, you know, because it's humane. It'd be inhumane to, you know, just put them in an area and say peace out, because they're not going to last a week, you know. I mean, yeah, they'd be eating. It'd be like Haiti, when that Haiti broke down recently and their cannibalism was happening day 2. Well, cannibalism happens there anyway, regularly. That's another thing. Yeah, they do that shit. It's not looked down upon in their culture. There's quite a few cultures like that, actually. Yeah, and then there's the government aspect of it. Fighting them, you're going to be fighting the government. Like in the perfect scenario, where I didn't get over my fantasy scenario. Yeah, we give them Georgia and South Carolina. We'd have to bring them supplies, though. So what we do is we'd have like one big door, like fucking door to Mordor or something. It's not that far off. And we'd bring trucks in and deliver supplies under heavily armed guard. We can't leave anything to chance. And we drop them off there, food and supplies. Unfortunately, what will happen is there'll be like warlords will emerge on their side, like the same thing that happens in Africa. Like one guy will come and start claiming everything. It's going to be hell no matter what. But I think at that point, if we can give aid, give supplies, it's kind of where, you know, we've done what we could, right? I mean, that's all you can really do is, there's some obligation there, of course, the humanitarian obligation. Just because, you know, they wouldn't do it for us, but that's okay. I was talking about this the other day, like people like, well, when they discuss something, they weren't saying it to me, but people were talking about, why would you do something for someone? They wouldn't do that for you. And you can't look at things that way. You know it's right inside. And I think that's kind of what makes us better people than most. You know, we are God's children, after all. The lineage of Adam and Eve. Yeah, we're really God's chosen. If you follow that, if you go back and look at all that stuff, like the Jewish thing, where they're actually Khazars from the Black Sea, it's a whole fucking thing. But it doesn't matter if anyone knows, as long as you know it, as long as you know the truth, and then you act accordingly. You know, to be needlessly cruel isn't good. There's just things that you know. But the thing is, only we know that. Only we know that. I was even just talking to a girl at the 7-Ounce store. I was talking about how I came back in because I got undercharged. It should have cost me $80 and the girl charged me $30. I didn't realize it until I was walking out of the store and halfway down the street. I'm like, wait a minute, why do I have all this money? So I went back and, straightened it out. And she's like, oh, that's nice of you. No one would do that. I'm like, well, you or I would do that, right? She's like, not many people would do that. And I'm like, she's right. But I think most of my people would do it. Yeah. Maybe even if they're just afraid of the karma. And there's always shitbags, of course. But what I'm trying to illustrate here is there's an innate feeling that you don't do things because someone else would do the same thing. You don't do things for a thank you. You do them because it's the right thing to do regardless of if they do it for you or not. Now, you don't want to carry this idea into a situation where you're going to get rolled, of course. I'm not saying do that to the extreme where, you're just letting people turn your cities into Marrakesh, which is sort of where we are now. But you have to, you don't have to, you're compelled to, I think. Well, at least I am. I know many other people that are, to do the right thing. And in the same way, that's why I don't think it's good to just go around start blowing people away. Unless you absolutely have to. Yeah, I do not condone genocide. Unless it's absolutely necessary. You know what I mean? If we have to. Now, what does that look like? What is if we have to? I don't know. There's a meter there for sure. There's a genocide meter. Just like a nonsense meter and a taxi cab meter. There's a, I guess it would be different for different people. Some people will tolerate more than others. Well, I think I would have tolerated it a lot more in my younger age when it wasn't clear that everyone wants to kill us. And we were more like, well, for a long time, white people have been stupid. They have this idea like, well, let's sit down at the table together and anything can be worked out. No, that's white brain thinking. Not everybody thinks that. It's the same thing with the doing the right thing I just went through. And the girl at the store was like, no one would do that. Most other cultures don't see that as a good idea. They'll be like, wow, I scored all this money, it's for me. And they couldn't understand why you should bring it back or why anyone would want to bring it back. And trust me, there's plenty of white people that do the same thing. But what I'm saying is I think we're the only ones that have this hardwired in our fucking bodies. Because we are God's children. And we do a lot of great shit. We're not allowed to talk about it though, but with me, it's never about tearing anybody else down. I don't want to tear anyone down. Other cultures or other races or groups. I don't care. I just want to build my people up. Or, appreciate what my people have done. And that's not at the cost of other people. But we're being forced into a situation now where we have to kind of put that all aside for our own survival. Sam Hyde and his guys, Charles and Nick, were talking about this. Like, oh, it doesn't look good for black people. It's not going to look good for them. Like, but I get you. In our minds, we all come to the conclusion. But what do you mean it doesn't look good for them? Like, what do you think's going to happen? How does that manifest itself? They're right. But it's like I can't see a scenario of how that's going to work. I mean, yes, of course, when they attack, that's the thing. It's not like there's a regular attack. They attack old people and women and kids, like the fucking train thing, the busing. There's tons of shit like that happens. It's very rarely guys. And I talked about that before. No one's jumping on Gypsy Crusader. You know, it's always weak. It's always a week, which is a jungle thing because, you know, there you go. But what they were saying, what Sam was saying too, is that the next few weeks is going to determine what's going to happen with Western civilization. I don't know what he bases this on, but the fact of the matter is, either way, we have to come up with some kind of plan. And I think at the very least, the clocks need to be turned back on some of those policies that we used to have. You got to go back to the last time that it was okay to live together. And I saw this documentary about trying to teach kids in what they were calling, it was an older documentary, and they were calling them ghetto schools. So like when you're in a ghetto school, ghetto children don't want to learn. And there was this documentary, I think it's from like the early 60s, or the mid 60s, it was in black and white. And this group of teachers from the university came there to try to determine how best to help the kids because they were underperforming. And they all walked away over a series of days and talks and meetings that there you can't teach them. We're trying to put them up to a regular standard, a normal standard that they could never achieve ever. The most illuminating thing was when they talked to the kids. They go, "What? How would this work better? How would we learn more?" And to the kid, they all said the teachers need to be more strict. You know, they need to be more strict. Basically, they were saying, if we're not afraid of you, we don't respect you, you're never going to gain control of us. Which is really interesting because it reminds me of the research they did in Africa years ago. And those, who's that Jewish guy? What's his name? He lost his Nobel Prize because of the research he did down there. Because when he brought back his findings, they didn't like them. And then they called him racist and stuff. He was saying, you can live around them, but you have to make sure that it's always very clear that you are in the pole position and they are subservient to you. He said, if you try to create a scenario where they're equal to you, they will burn everything you have down. They will destroy you. And listen to these kids. They're saying the same thing. You know, like you have to fucking give us the hand. You have to whack us and get us in line, or else we're not going to listen. What is every like rich hip hop star, entertainer, black entertainer that gets famous or gets some money? What's always the first thing you see them with, or see them spend a lot of money on? Even the kids that don't have money will buy. What do they always buy? Yeah, right. It's like there's something inside them that's telling them, like, we should be over here, or we need to be here. So something like that has to happen, where it has to be made, you know, maybe a combination of segregation. I don't know. I don't think you got to bring the KKK back, which was a Democrat organization. Actually, it's funny. Well, they first formed to just be do-gooders. It got turned into and twisted into something that it was, or something they tell us that it was. Who really knows? But yeah, they were crusaders, like superheroes that would help their communities to do good deeds anonymously. You know, a very white thing. All right, I gotta go in because I have ice cream that's gonna melt. And I'll have to table this fucking conversation for now. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where things go. I'll keep every eye on it. Until then, thanks for stopping in. And as always, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.